I'm Adam.
And I'm Pim.
And this is Where There's a Williams, There's a Way.
Hey Pim, do you ever think of the big questions?
Yeah, sure. Do you know what the biggest pencil in the world is?
What?
Pennsylvania.
Oh, very funny. But when I was saying big questions, I had in mind more like, what's the meaning of life?
Oh, then no. You could drive yourself bonkers thinking like that and have an existential crisis.
In today's book, that is exactly what happens to a worm named Carl. Let's get started. Carl and the Meaning of Life by Deborah Freedman. Carl was not a bird. Carl was not a bear or a beaver. Carl was an earthworm. He lived underground, moving, always moving, burrowing, tunneling, digesting dead leaves, feasting and casting, turning hard dirt into fluffy soil, day after day.
Why? Asked a field mouse gathering seeds. Why do you do that?
Why? Carl did not know why, but now he needed to find out. So Carl stopped making fluffy soil.
I'll be right back, he told the field mouse.
He spotted a rabbit. Maybe she knew.
Why do I do what I do? He asked her.
Oh, goodness dear, she said. I do not know. I do what I do for my babies. But Carl did not have babies.
Hey, Adam, why do you do what you do?
Many of the things that I do are to spend quality times with my family. I teach because I love kids and want to help mold them, guide them, and invest in the future.
Why do you make these videos?
It started off to help my students. Then it became bigger than that. I wanted to help all those kids that didn't have someone to read to them. Then I wanted to help other teachers have a resource. Then, honestly, it became a compulsion. There are so many good books out there and so many things that eventually I want to read them all.
I do things for the experience. I grew up in the middle of nowhere and not many choices besides hanging out all day. I want to travel the world, do all the things, and meet all the people.
Those are pretty lofty goals.
Yeah, so are yours.
A fox appeared. Carl turned to the fox. Why do I do what I do? Asked Carl. Who do I do it for?
For whom? Replied the fox. Alas, my meal awaits. I'm here for the hunt.
But Carl did not want to hunt. Why are you talking to a fox? Cried a squirrel. Carl was startled. Because the field mouse is waiting and wants to know what I'm here for. The squirrel declared, I'm here to plant trees. Trees are where I sleep. But Carl could not sleep, not high in a tree, and not without an answer for the mouse. He pushed on.
What?
And on. Hours turned into days until the soil was no longer fluffy. The ground around Carl turned barren and dry.
Who?
While he continued to search.
Why? It looks to me like he's asking everybody else why they're doing things, when in reality he should be asking himself why he does things.
You're right. That's what the book is all about, but every person has a different road of discovery. Sometimes you need guidance from others.
Like a parent, a friend, or a teacher?
Other times you need moments of self-reflection and ask yourself the big questions.
If you only ask others what you should be doing and follow their advice, you're doing things for their reasons, not your own.
What's wrong with that?
Eventually, you could find yourself unhappy because you aren't doing something that you wanted. You don't follow your passion and feed your love.
Wow, things got pretty deep.
You said you were looking to answer the big questions. Here we are.
Here we are. I agree with you that what you said about feeding your love. If I go too long without doing something creative, I feel like I'm missing something in my life. I like to create, make videos, write stories, or build something.
That may even be your meaning of life.
It just may be. But the birds had flown off to find grasses and fluff. The bear trundled away to look for berries. Soon there was nobody left to talk to. "What about me?" called Carl. The clouds were silent, so was the air. I'll never find out," he sniffled. Then Carl heard his sniffle echo, followed by a squeak.
"I can't find any grubs,"
a voice cried. It was the saddest ground beetle he had ever seen. Carl peeked under a stone. No grubs. Then he poked at the dirt. It was hard like a rock. Where was this fluffy soil? Suddenly, Carl knew what he needed to do. "I'll be right back," he promised. For hours into days, weeks into months, Carl munched, digested, left castings, and tunneled, and turned that hard dirt back into rich soil.
"You made my seeds grow,"
said the mouse. Clover blossomed once again, and the rabbit came back with her kids. The squirrel returned to plant new trees. The fox was lured by the hunt, all of them able to do what they do. How? Well, why not ask Carl? Carl spent all that time doing eating, burrowing, and making fluffy soil. Yes, and it seemed like he felt guilty about doing it for himself. Maybe. But once he realized how much of what he did impacted and helped others, then he felt like he couldn't stop. Exactly. Is that how you feel about these videos? You said it was like a compulsion. Once I realized how many people appreciated and watch these videos, I couldn't stop. The more I make, the more I can help. Thanks, Pim. This was like a therapy session. I'm glad. I like to help. Speaking of liking things, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'm Adam. And I'm Pim. And this is Where There's a Williams, There's a Way. Author's note. Have you ever watched squirrels running around or beetles skittering by and wondered, what are they doing? Or why do they do that? Just like Carl, every creature in this book has an important job. The mouse, rabbit, squirrel, fox, and ground beetle all need each other, and our world needs them. Everything is connected, including you. How do you help the earth? It may be doubted whether there are many other animals which have played so important a part in the history of the world as have these lowly organized creatures. Charles Darwin. The Formation of Vegetable Mold Through the Action of Worms, with Observations on Their Habits by Charles Darwin, 1883. Did you know there are approximately 2,700 different kinds of earthworms that have no arms, legs, or eyes?
Premium